Well, for the first time since 1984, where were you when the Niners last beat the Browns? Well, today that streak is over. 26-8. A lot of mistakes by Cleveland. A lot of great work by the special teams unit for the 49ers. This is 49ers Postgame Live, brought to you by Toyota. Matt Mayoko, Rod Brooks, Carlos Ramirez. Where were you in 1984 when the 49ers last? Yeah, yes, you were. Yes, you were.
Yes, I was.
This game has many places we can go, Matt, but special teams today was special for the 49ers.
49ers did what they needed to do. They played well on special teams. They were very good on third downs, and the Browns weren't good on third downs or fourth downs. So the 49ers defense made some big-time plays on fourth down stops. 49ers did absolutely everything they needed to do to win this game.
A workmanlike effort for a Niner team coming off that Monday night win, that making it a short week and going up against a really good Browns defense, particularly against the run. That was a big boy win for the Niners. Happy flight coming up and a happy bye week coming up, too.
Oh, bye week.
How do you both, we need that. How do you both judge, Rod, you first, what Brock Purdy did considering the defense and the elements?
I thought he was outstanding. I thought his passes were crisp. They were accurate. He was not late. He was not bothered by the Cleveland pass rush. Myles Garrett, I mean, we didn't really even talk about him much during the game when we were watching it. In the green room, he only had one sack, and that was in the fourth quarter. I thought Brock Purdy was absolutely outstanding, and those passes looked crisp and sharp.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that, the third down conversions were huge. He was able to make some plays on third downs, using his legs in this game, including the touchdown run, which was clearly, the Browns didn't give him any respect as far as being a running option. All the focus was on McCaffrey, and Shanahan and Brock Purdy were able to take advantage of that. But he played errorless football, and I think that's what the 49ers expect from him. That's what everybody should expect from him. That game Monday night against the Panthers, which turns out they're not as bad as we thought they were, coming off they beat the Rams today. But, he just gave the Panthers too many opportunities, and he didn't give the Browns those opportunities today.
So what happened today? Let's match up two things, two realities. The 49ers beat the Browns, and the Rams lost to the Panthers. That no one had that coming. So the overreaction is, with those scores, with those results, Matt, I'll start with you, the 49ers should go for the NFC West title.
Absolutely. Now their sights change. I think this three-game stretch where they now have that three-game winning streak culminating with this game in Cleveland and then the bye week and coming out and playing the Titans, they had to run the table if they had any chance of winning the NFC West. Now, it's a distinct possibility. They can do this. The Rams, they still face the Seattle Seahawks. 49ers play the Seahawks as well. But, why not set their sights high?
Everything is on the table for the Niners. And have you noticed the Niners have started to craft themselves a little bit of a pass rush? It's not what it was when you had Bosa, and obviously you miss Fred Warner in all facets of the game defensively, but it seems like the Niners are getting enough from what they have. Cleve Farrell with 2 sacks today. Keon White with a sack today. It seems like the Niners are shoring up that part of their defense that was lacking, and that's what a lot of people thought would keep them from getting to the playoffs, going far in the playoffs are. Winning the division? What?
Well,
you mentioned two guys who weren't even on the team a month ago.
Yeah.
Right.
In Cleveland Farrell.
Yeah, and Keon White.
Yeah.
Great points. Let's go out to Cleveland live with our 49ers reporter, Jennifer Lee Chan, live from the stadium. Jennifer, welcome to the show. Special teams was special today for the 49ers. Your take on what that unit gave the team today?
I mean, they gave them a chance, giving them better field position on a game that has so much wind and so much weather in it. So I really think that the special teams gave the 49ers the advantage. Sky Moore in that 66-yard return, I mean, that really set the momentum going, and it gave them great field position for a score.
Jennifer, you clearly beat the elements in the win today. How do you think Trent Williams did against Myles Garrett?
He allowed one sack. Myles Garrett kind of went to the outside, faked him out, slid onto the inside, got a sack of Brock Purdy, but seriously, Trent Williams had a great game against Myles Garrett. It was definitely one to watch. I was with my binoculars looking at the two of them, but definitely I think Brock Purdy had a great game, like Matt said, mistake-free, and that's where the 49ers really had the advantage. The Cleveland Browns had a lot of mistakes, the muffed punt, fumbles, things like that. Brock Purdy had a great game. They played clean, and that's what gave them the win here in Cleveland.
The overreaction, let me give it to you. We just said the 49ers, with the Rams losing and them winning, should go for the NFC West crown. What do you think, Jennifer?
I mean, it is a distinct possibility. These guys are healthy on the offense. The defense, even though they have so many injuries, like Rod was saying, with Nick Bosa, with Fred Warner, the defense is playing pretty good football. Malik Mustafa has been playing lights out. He's like a missile on the field. So if this defense can play up to this level, Robert Saleh, again, biggest acquisition of the offseason, that's going to help them, their momentum through these last few games. And the offense just playing clean football. The 49ers really can reach a high level here. A lot of potential.
The great Jennifer Lee Chan live from Cleveland. Jen, thank you so much. Safe flight home from Ohio. We stay here in studio with Matt and Rod to do some QB comparisons. The rookie Shedeur Sanders to one side, the right of your screen. To the left is Brock Purdy. What area of the game, Rod, do you think Brock outplayed Shedeur the most today?
Well, I mean, he beat him on third downs for sure. You know, the Browns were 3 of 11 on third down. The Niners 10 of 16. Brock Purdy scoring that rushing touchdown on third down. Just his control of the game, his command of the game. As I said earlier, I thought throwing the ball significantly better than what we saw this past Monday night. Crisp, accurate, had zip on it, getting it to the numbers, not having it float in the middle of the field. I also like the way he ran as well. There was a few times where, okay, running a little bit too much. How about we just get rid of the ball, keep Myles Garrett away from you? But just in terms of his movement, I thought he was absolutely outstanding.
I thought the way the 49ers called this game defensively, and even Kyle Shanahan taking that one penalty, it showed that the 49ers felt like Shedeur Sanders could not beat them. Mm-hmm. And then also I kind of felt like the Cleveland Browns felt like Shedeur Sanders couldn't beat the 49ers.
Right.
They needed a lot of different things to happen. They really ran the ball well, Cleveland did. And, you know, some of the things that I'm sure, you know, once Sanders, if he remains a starting quarterback, when he becomes a little bit more ingrained in that offense, you know, the wildcat on fourth downs, you know, putting a rookie tight end behind center to take a snap, that's something, you know, if you have a quarterback you trust in, you let him kind of dictate where you go.
Right.
And so I thought Sanders played as well as I think anybody could have possibly hoped he would play from the Cleveland side. Yeah. It just wasn't enough, and he didn't have enough support.
They realized pretty early, and understandably so, that they couldn't live with Shedeur Sanders and that offense being in third and longs. So that's when they started to run the ball. What did they run it 9 straight times?
Yep. On
that one drive that they eventually scored on, that 90-yard drive after the punt. But once the Niners defensively, they were able to get enough stops in the run game, and they were able to get it to 3rd and 5, 3rd and 8. They just knew that if they just kept Sanders in the pocket, that he just simply couldn't beat him, and that was the case.
All right, Christian McCaffrey, again, scoring touchdowns today for the San Francisco 49ers. Check this out. Touchdown scores, including the playoffs. Rod, this guy got here 3 years ago, and he's already tied for 9th with George Kittle. He's 8 away from Gene Washington. You see the list. No one's catching Jerry ever with that number. But the fact that he's top 10, again, getting here less than 5 years ago is madness.
I mean, he's an outstanding football player. I've run out of things to say about him. And going up against that Browns run defense, that to me is the best in the league. It's a punishing defense. You see that they had him more than a couple of times at or behind the line of scrimmage. He was still able to get away from those guys and get some positive yardage. And today, I saw some burst and some wiggle and some speed and some acceleration from Christian McCaffrey that I feel like I haven't seen a lot this year. Not that he's taken a step back, that's not what I'm saying, but I just felt like today in this game, in this situation where they needed him to be that, boy, he looked crisp and sharp.
Yeah, you know, still the 2.7-yard average kind of stands out to me. You know, not good enough. I think the 49ers knew going into this game that, again, it was going to be some tough sledding on the offensive side of the ball to be able to run the football against that Browns front. But I thought, you know, by and large, the 49ers offensive line opened some holes when they needed the plays. Basically, you know, on those short yardage plays, the 49ers, although they didn't run the ball consistently, they made those plays they had to make. Mm-hmm. The Browns, consequently, they ran the ball pretty well, except for when they had to run the ball, and then they didn't run the ball very well. So give credit to the 49ers offensive line, especially in pass protection, not necessarily holding, you know, pitching a shutout against Myles Garrett, but doing certainly well enough. And a lot of credit goes to Kyle Shanahan and the game plan to try to scheme Myles Garrett out of the game.
But the Niners, they would get into third downs even though the run game wasn't there in terms of average. You mentioned 2.7. They would get to third downs, and then they would convert those third downs. Yeah. You get to the Browns. They would get into third down situations, couldn't convert the third downs, couldn't convert the fourth downs. 26-8, Niners on the way.
Let's focus now on the defensive effort the 49ers gave today out in Cleveland. Clelin Ferrell, boy, talk about the right decision, brought to you by Bernardi Zerata. Matt, you talked about this. This guy wasn't on the team 3 weeks ago, and now here he is sacking quarterbacks left and right. What did you see from him today?
I mean, he's now probably the best defensive lineman they have on the team. And this is a guy that was on the street. He was without a team through the middle part of the season. The 49ers bring him in, and he played pretty well. But then, remember, they deactivated him for a couple of games. So even they weren't totally convinced in what they had in Clelin Ferrell. And now he's come out there, and he's made some big plays. And, you know, as we talked about earlier, with Keon White coming in and Clelin Ferrell coming in, the entire complexion of the 49ers defensive line has changed. But, I mean, they're winning games, and those guys are being productive, and it's going to take this group effort the rest of the way.
Yep. What did you see from Cleveland?
For sure. No, it's outstanding. As I mentioned before, pass rush, a lack of a pass rush was the one thing that many people thought would keep the Niners from going far. You just get a little bit of it with what they have, the rest of that defense and what they have offensively. A little bit of pass rush will go a long way for the Niners.
And one thing I'd like to point out with Sanders, it was very clear. The emphasis for the defensive line was just stay in your pass rush lanes.
Right.
You know, you weren't seeing guys flying up the field and leaving their responsibilities in order to put pressure on the quarterback. It was very much a controlled pass rush. That's the way they decided to handle this, and it was effective.
Kind of the Jalen Hurts approach we were talking about. So, and just beat him with the arms. He couldn't do it with his arm. He couldn't do it. So that's what they did with Shedeur Sanders today. Let's focus on this, the NFC playoff picture. Well, Rod might get sick, but here come the Cowboys. They've taken down the Eagles and the Chiefs in consecutive weeks. Next week, Detroit faces Dallas up in Detroit. Huge implications for everyone. San Francisco looking pretty up at 7 with 9-4. As we go, Rod, the top 7 seem to be separating. But here comes Carolina. Tampa might fall out. It's really interesting. 10 teams vying for 7 spots.
Yeah, but I think we all know that the teams that are set now, 1 through 7, those are the superior teams in the NFC.
Are you convinced?
Yes, I'm absolutely convinced. Detroit, not enough defensively.
I can see the Panthers taking the South. A lot of injuries in Tampa.
As long as Baker Mayfield is healthy, I'm going to go with Tampa. Dan Campbell is going to fourth down the Lions out of the playoffs.
Yep.
And at some point in time, you got to stop with that nonsense. And I'm not buying the Cowboys.
Thursday is Detroit against Dallas. Right?
Yes.
That could be an elimination game.
I think
it is.
In
a lot of ways.
It is.
Yeah. But the thing that's so interesting to me is up until today, up until 30 minutes ago, I was thinking, well, quite clearly the Rams are the best team in the NFC. And then you look ahead to the playoffs and you go, so much can change in a month or so, you know, the hot team. Now I'm thinking so much can change in like 20 minutes. Now I look at that NFC picture and I don't see a team that's just dominant and can just steamroll through. I mean, the Rams are still a very good team. The Bears, I'm not quite sure how they're doing it. We're going to learn a lot more about them as the weeks go on here.
The run game
and
is
now,
brutal.
I mean, the 49ers with 3 victories in a row. I mean, they're as hot as any team in the conference.
I can see literally any team of that top 7 winning the NFC. I mean, I see favorites, like you said, the Rams. I wouldn't be shocked if the NFC Championship game is Seattle and Green Bay.
I'm going to say top 9. I know, Dallas, they have the most impressive victories the last 2 weeks.
Yep. But see, here's the problem, is that the Bucs have an iffy pass rush.
That's the only one.
The Niners have an iffy pass rush. That Panthers team, clearly that secondary is pretty good. All right, if they can get Matthew Stafford to throw picks, that's not something he's done this year. Thinking about the picks that Brock Purdy threw yesterday, that's a good secondary. But they don't have much of a pass rush. The Cowboys still don't have much of a pass rush. The Eagles, as goofy as they can be, particularly offensively, that is still clearly the best defense in the league. And I think for me, just watching the Rams, I think today was just a one-off while giving Carolina a lot of credit. But in my estimation, the top 7 teams, as they stay right now, as it is static, to me, those are the best 7 teams.
That Buccaneers-Panthers game towards the end of the season, ooh, boy, it's going to be fun. When we come back here on the show, Kyle Shanahan stops by with his press conference after the game. The head coach, hey, he took one from Schwartz. Now he's 2-8. Great win for the Niners. What does he think about the win? Listen after the break.